Welcome to Psych IQ. In today's video, we're diving into the fascinating world of personality types, focusing on two of the most intriguing and often misunderstood, INFJs and INTJs. These types share similarities, but also have profound differences that shape their unique approaches to life, relationships, and work. If you're curious about what sets them apart, stick around as we explore 10 key differences between INFJs and INTJs. By the end of this video, you'll have a clearer understanding of these complex personality types and their unique traits. Let's get started. 1. The core dichotomy, feeling versus thinking. The primary distinction between INFJs and INTJs lies in their approach to decision-making. INFJs are led by their emotions and values, feeling, while INTJs prioritize logic and analysis, thinking. This fundamental difference influences how they navigate the world and interact with others. INFJs are empathetic and prioritize harmony, while INTJs are more objective and focus on rationality. The Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, MBTI, categorizes personalities into 16 distinct types based on a combination of 4 dichotomies. The most significant difference between INFJs and INTJs is encapsulated in the dichotomy of feeling, F, versus thinking, T. This fundamental contrast shapes how these two personality types process information, make decisions, and interact with the world. INFJ, guided by values and empathy. INFJs, known as the counselors, prioritize emotions, human connection, and empathy when making decisions. This feeling preference indicates that INFJs are more concerned with maintaining harmony and considering the impact of their actions on others. They often put themselves in others' shoes, striving to understand their emotions and motivations. This empathetic approach makes them natural caregivers, counselors, and peacemakers. INFJs tend to process information through an emotional lens, often drawing from their intuition to understand people and situations. They focus on the human element, seeking to build meaningful relationships and contribute positively to the world. Because they are driven by their inner values and emotional connections, INFJs often prioritize their relationships and social responsibilities over cold logic and impersonal analysis. INTJ, driven by logic and analysis. On the other hand, INTJs, known as the architects, prioritize logic, analysis, and rationality when making decisions. This thinking preference indicates that INTJs are more focused on objectivity and problem solving. They are adept at breaking down complex issues, formulating strategic plans, and approaching situations with a critical mindset. INTJs often process information through an analytical lens, preferring to assess facts and data before arriving at a conclusion. They value efficiency and effectiveness, using their keen intellect to solve problems and make logical decisions. This rational approach leads them to be less swayed by emotions and more focused on achieving their goals. The impact on relationships and communication. The feeling versus thinking dichotomy also impacts how INFJs and INTJs approach relationships and communication. INFJs, being driven by empathy, are more likely to focus on creating emotional connections and providing emotional support. They communicate in a diplomatic and gentle manner, often carefully choosing their words to avoid conflict or hurt feelings. This approach helps them establish strong bonds with others, but it can also lead to internalizing stress and anxiety to maintain harmony. INTJs, with their thinking preference, approach relationships and communication with a more straightforward and direct style. They value clear and concise communication, often favoring efficiency over diplomacy. While this approach can lead to more effective problem-solving and quick decision-making, it may sometimes be perceived as blunt or insensitive by others, especially those with a feeling preference. Balancing feeling and thinking. The feeling versus thinking dichotomy doesn't mean that one approach is better than the other. Rather, it reflects different ways of processing information and making decisions. INFJs and INTJs each bring unique strengths to the table. INFJs excel at fostering emotional connections and understanding the human aspect, while INTJs are skilled at analyzing complex problems and developing strategic solutions. However, the balance between these two approaches can be challenging. INFJs may struggle with setting boundaries and making objective decisions when emotions are involved. INTJs, conversely, may find it difficult to connect on an emotional level or empathize with others' feelings. Understanding this core dichotomy helps us appreciate the unique qualities of both INFJs and INTJs, and recognize the value of different perspectives. Whether you're an INFJ or an INTJ, learning to balance feeling and thinking can lead to personal growth, improved communication, and stronger relationships. 2. Social interaction. Empathy versus detachment. INFJs are often described as empathetic listeners who intuitively understand others' emotions. They seek emotional connections and tend to offer support and guidance to those around them. INTJs, on the other hand, are more reserved and analytical in social situations. They prefer to keep their emotions private and focus on problem solving, which can sometimes make them seem detached or aloof. When it comes to social interaction, INFJs and INTJs exhibit distinct approaches that align with their broader personality traits. While both types are introverted, their ways of engaging with people and the broader social world are quite different, rooted in their emphasis on empathy versus detachment. INFJs. Empathetic and compassionate INFJs, often known as the counselors, are characterized by their deep sense of empathy and compassion for others. This empathetic approach to social interaction makes them highly attuned to the emotions and needs of those around them. INFJs often find themselves drawn to people who need support or guidance, feeling a natural inclination to listen, understand, and help. In social settings, INFJs tend to be warm, gentle, and patient. They are skilled at reading nonverbal cues, understanding body language, and picking up on subtle emotional signals. This heightened sensitivity to the feelings of others enables INFJs to create a welcoming and non-threatening environment, where people feel safe to share their thoughts and feelings. However, this level of empathy can also be a double-edged sword for INFJs. Because they are so attuned to others' emotions, they can easily absorb the stress and negative energy from those around them. This can lead to emotional burnout or feeling overwhelmed in crowded or emotionally charged environments. As a result, INFJs often need time alone to recharge and regain their emotional equilibrium. INTJs, reserved and analytical. In contrast, INTJs, often known as the architects, approach social interaction with a more detached and analytical mindset. While they are capable of building relationships, they are less focused on emotional connections and more interested in intellectual discussions and problem solving. INTJs value efficiency and directness in communication, which can sometimes make them seem aloof or distant. INTJs often prefer smaller, more intimate social settings, where they can engage in meaningful conversations without the pressure of superficial small talk. They are known for their strategic thinking and enjoy discussing complex ideas and theories. While they may not be as attuned to emotional cues as INFJs, they excel at offering logical solutions and can be excellent advisors when approached for guidance. However, this detached approach to social interaction can create challenges for INTJs. Their preference for logical analysis can make it difficult for them to connect with others on an emotional level. This can lead to misunderstandings, as people may perceive INTJs as cold or uncaring. Additionally, their direct communication style can sometimes come across as blunt or insensitive, further complicating social interactions. Finding common ground. Despite these differences, INFJs and INTJs can find common ground in social interactions. Both types are introverted, meaning they value quality over quantity in relationships. They prefer deeper connections with a select few rather than broad networks of acquaintances. This shared introversion allows them to understand each other's need for personal space and time to recharge. For INFJs, learning to set boundaries and avoid emotional burnout can help them maintain their empathetic approach to social interaction. For INTJs, focusing on improving their emotional intelligence and practicing empathy can lead to more harmonious relationships and a greater understanding of others' feelings. In conclusion, the social interaction styles of INFJs and INTJs reflect their broader personality traits of empathy versus detachment. While INFJs excel at creating emotional connections, INTJs thrive in intellectual discussions. Understanding and respecting these differences can lead to healthier relationships and more effective communication between these two unique personality types. 3. Approach to conflict. Harmonizer versus rationalizer. When it comes to conflict resolution, INFJs strive for harmony and peace. They are likely to avoid confrontation and work toward a resolution that satisfies everyone involved. INTJs, however, approach conflict with a logical mindset. They don't shy away from confrontation and tend to address issues head-on, focusing on solutions rather than emotions. When it comes to dealing with conflict, INFJs and INTJs exhibit distinct approaches that reflect their underlying personality traits. These approaches can shape how they handle disagreements, resolve disputes, and navigate challenging situations in both personal and professional contexts. INFJs, harmonizers seeking peace. INFJs, often known as the counselors, are natural harmonizers who prioritize maintaining peace and harmony in their relationships. When faced with conflict, INFJs tend to focus on understanding the root cause of the disagreement and finding common ground. Their approach to conflict resolution is typically gentle and empathetic, as they aim to create a safe environment where everyone feels heard and valued. INFJs are highly attuned to the emotions of others, which makes them adept at recognizing tension and addressing it in a way that minimizes confrontation. They often act as mediators, using their empathetic skills to bridge gaps and bring people together. Their goal is to resolve conflict in a manner that preserves relationships and fosters a sense of unity. However, this harmonizing approach can also pose challenges for INFJs. Because they are so focused on avoiding conflict, they may be reluctant to assert their own needs or express dissenting opinions. This tendency to prioritize others' feelings over their own can lead to internalizing stress or resentment. INFJs may need to work on setting boundaries and asserting themselves to avoid being overwhelmed by the demands of conflict resolution. INTJs, rationalizers seeking solutions. In contrast, INTJs, often known as the architects, approach conflict with a more rational and analytical mindset. When faced with disagreements, INTJs focus on finding solutions through logic and critical thinking. They are not afraid to confront issues directly and often view conflict as an opportunity to solve problems and improve processes. INTJs are strategic thinkers who value efficiency and effectiveness. When resolving conflict, they are likely to break down the problem into its components and devise a logical plan to address it. They may ask pointed questions, challenge assumptions, and propose solutions that are grounded in reason. This approach allows them to navigate conflict with a sense of clarity and purpose, without being overly swayed by emotions. However, the rational approach of INTJs can sometimes be perceived as blunt or insensitive. Because they focus on solutions rather than emotions, they may overlook the need for empathy and emotional validation in conflict resolution. This can create misunderstandings, especially with those who prioritize emotional connections. INTJs may need to work on developing their emotional intelligence and understanding the human element in conflict situations. Finding common ground. Despite their differing approaches, INFJs and INTJs can find common ground when it comes to conflict resolution. Both types value problem solving, albeit in different ways. INFJs focus on harmonizing and preserving relationships, while INTJs prioritize logical solutions and strategic planning. To navigate conflict effectively, INFJs and INTJs can learn from each other. INFJs can benefit from the rational perspective of INTJs, which can help them find practical solutions without sacrificing their empathetic approach. INTJs, in turn, can learn from the harmonizing skills of INFJs, allowing them to address conflict with more empathy and understanding. By embracing their unique strengths and addressing their respective challenges, both INFJs and INTJs can become more effective at resolving conflict and fostering positive relationships. Ultimately, a balanced approach that combines empathy with logic can lead to more harmonious outcomes and stronger connections with others. 4. Career preferences. Helping professions versus strategic roles. INFJs are drawn to careers that allow them to help others and make a positive impact on society. They often pursue roles in counseling, teaching, or social work, where they can use their empathetic skills. INTJs, however, are attracted to strategic roles that require analytical thinking and problem solving. They excel in fields like engineering, business, and technology, where they can apply their logical approach to complex problems. INFJs and INTJs, though both introverted and intuitive, exhibit distinct career preferences that reflect their underlying motivations and personality traits. Understanding these differences can offer insights into the types of work environments where they thrive, as well as the roles they gravitate towards. INFJs, Drawn to helping professions, INFJs, often called the counselors, are guided by their empathy, compassion, and a deep-seated desire to help others. These traits naturally lead them toward professions where they can make a positive impact on people's lives. INFJs excel in roles that allow them to connect with others on a meaningful level, often serving as listeners, advisors, or caregivers. Common career choices for INFJs include counseling, social work, psychology, teaching, and healthcare. In these fields, they can use their empathetic skills to understand the needs of individuals and provide guidance or support. INFJs also thrive in roles where they can advocate for social justice, such as working with nonprofits or humanitarian organizations, as they are driven by a sense of moral responsibility. The empathetic nature of INFJs makes them excellent team players who prioritize harmony and collaboration. They are often seen as compassionate leaders who focus on fostering a supportive and inclusive work environment. However, this focus on helping others can sometimes lead to emotional burnout, as INFJs may struggle to set boundaries and prioritize their own well-being. INTJs, attracted to strategic roles. On the other hand, INTJs, often known as the architects, are drawn to strategic roles that require logic, analysis, and problem-solving. They excel in environments where they can apply their critical thinking skills and create innovative solutions to complex challenges. INTJs thrive in careers that allow them to use their strategic mindset and work towards long-term goals. Common career choices for INTJs include engineering, technology, business, and management. In these fields, they can use their analytical skills to devise plans, optimize processes, and make data-driven decisions. INTJs are often seen as strategic leaders who focus on efficiency and results, excelling in roles where they can set ambitious goals and work methodically to achieve them. The logical approach of INTJs makes them highly effective in strategic roles, but it can also lead to challenges in collaborative settings. INTJs may struggle with interpersonal dynamics, as they prioritize logic over emotions. This can create friction in team environments, especially if they don't take into account the human element in decision-making. Balancing career preferences. Despite their differing career preferences, INFJs and INTJs can find common ground in their pursuit of meaningful work. Both types are driven by a desire to make a difference, albeit through different means. INFJs focus on helping others through empathy and compassion, while ENTJs aim to create positive change through strategic planning and innovation. For INFJs, the challenge is to find careers that allow them to help others without sacrificing their own well-being. Setting boundaries and managing emotional energy can help them avoid burnout. For INTJs, the key is to develop interpersonal skills and emotional intelligence to work effectively in team environments and consider the impact of their decisions on others. By understanding their career preferences and addressing their respective challenges, both INFJs and INTJs can find fulfilling careers that align with their unique strengths. Ultimately, the ideal career is one that combines empathy with strategy, allowing individuals to make a positive impact while achieving their personal and professional goals. 5. Relationship dynamics. Emotional intimacy versus intellectual connection. In relationships, INFJs prioritize emotional intimacy and deep connections. They are attentive to their partner's needs and seek to create a strong emotional bond. INTJs, while capable of deep connections, are more focused on intellectual compatibility. They value stimulating conversations and prefer partners who challenge them intellectually. When it comes to relationships, the dynamics between INFJs and INTJs can differ significantly, driven by their respective preferences for emotional intimacy versus intellectual connection. Understanding these differences can shed light on how these two personality types navigate romantic partnerships, friendships, and other close relationships. INFJs, seeking emotional intimacy. INFJs, often called the counselors, are highly attuned to emotions and place a strong emphasis on emotional intimacy in their relationships. They seek deep, meaningful connections with others, valuing authenticity and vulnerability. INFJs are natural nurturers, offering empathy, understanding, and support to their partners. They invest time and energy in building trust and fostering a sense of closeness. In romantic relationships, INFJs prioritize open communication and emotional bonding. They are likely to ask thoughtful questions to understand their partner's feelings and needs. INFJs excel at creating a safe space for emotional expression, encouraging their partners to share their innermost thoughts without fear of judgment. This approach helps them establish strong, lasting connections based on mutual trust and respect. However, INFJs' focus on emotional intimacy can also lead to challenges. Their sensitivity to others' emotions can make them vulnerable to emotional exhaustion, especially if their partner's emotional needs are high. Additionally, INFJs may struggle with setting boundaries, as they often prioritize their partner's feelings over their own. This can lead to issues of codependency or a lack of personal space. INTJs, favoring intellectual connection. On the other hand, INTJs, often known as the architects, prioritize intellectual connection in their relationships. They value stimulating conversations, shared interests, and a mutual understanding of complex ideas. INTJs approach relationships with a strategic mindset, seeking partners who share their intellectual curiosity and problem-solving skills. In romantic relationships, INTJs are likely to focus on building a partnership based on common goals and interests. They enjoy discussing ideas, exploring new concepts, and engaging in deep conversations. INTJs appreciate partners who challenge their thinking and offer different perspectives. This intellectual connection forms the foundation of their relationships, leading to a sense of compatibility and shared purpose. While INTJs' preference for intellectual connection can lead to strong partnerships, it can also pose challenges in terms of emotional intimacy. INTJs may find it difficult to express their emotions openly or respond to their partner's emotional needs. This can create a sense of emotional distance, especially with partners who value emotional intimacy. Additionally, INTJs' preference for logical problem-solving can sometimes come across as dismissive or insensitive to their partner's feelings. Finding balance in relationships. Despite their differing approaches to relationships, INFJs and INTJs can find common ground by learning from each other's strengths. INFJs can benefit from the rational perspective of INTJs, which can help them approach relationship challenges with a more strategic mindset. INTJs, in turn, can learn from the emotional depth of INFJs, allowing them to connect with their partners on a more intimate level. For INFJs, the key to successful relationships is to balance emotional intimacy with personal boundaries. By setting clear boundaries and taking time for self-care, INFJs can maintain their emotional well-being while fostering deep connections with their partners. For INTJs, the challenge is to develop emotional intelligence and practice empathy, which can enhance their relationships by fostering greater emotional intimacy. Ultimately, successful relationships require a balance between emotional intimacy and intellectual connection. By embracing their unique strengths and addressing their respective challenges, both INFJs and INTJs can build meaningful relationships that are grounded in both emotional and intellectual compatibility. 6. Creativity and imagination. Abstract versus practical. Both INFJs and ENTJs are creative, but their approaches differ. INFJs often have a vivid imagination and enjoy exploring abstract concepts, such as spirituality and philosophy. They find inspiration in their emotions and intuition. INTJs, on the other hand, are more practical in their creativity. They prefer to work on projects that have tangible outcomes and are driven by problem solving. Creativity and imagination are fundamental aspects of human expression, guiding how we view the world, approach problems, and communicate ideas. When comparing INFJs and INTJs, their creativity and imagination take on different forms, with INFJs leaning towards the abstract and INTJs gravitating towards the practical. This distinction shapes not only their artistic pursuits, but also their general outlook on life. NFJs. The abstract visionaries INFJs, known for their deep sense of intuition and empathy, often express their creativity in abstract ways. They are drawn to ideas and concepts that explore the depths of human experience and emotion. INFJs tend to think in terms of metaphors, symbols, and deeper meanings, which reflects in their creative endeavors. They may be fascinated by the intangible aspects of life, such as spirituality, philosophy, and the exploration of human emotions. In artistic expressions, INFJs might be attracted to writing, poetry, music, or visual arts that evoke a strong emotional response. They are often inspired by the beauty of human connection and the search for meaning in a complex world. INFJ's creativity is deeply personal, often tied to their inner values and desire to make a positive impact. This abstract perspective allows them to create works that resonate with others on a deeply emotional level. However, INFJ's abstract creativity can sometimes lead to challenges. They might struggle with grounding their ideas in reality or translating abstract concepts into practical applications. This tendency towards idealism can make it difficult for INFJs to navigate the practicalities of day-to-day life. Additionally, their intense focus on emotion and meaning can lead to periods of emotional exhaustion or creative blocks. INTJs, the practical innovators. In contrast, INTJs, known for their strategic thinking and analytical skills, approach creativity and imagination with a more practical mindset. They are problem solvers who use their creativity to develop innovative solutions and improve existing systems. INTJs tend to think in terms of structure, efficiency, and functionality, preferring ideas that have tangible applications. In artistic expressions, INTJs might be attracted to fields like architecture, engineering, design, or technology. They excel at creating structures and systems that are both functional and aesthetically pleasing. INTJ's creativity is often driven by a desire to solve problems and optimize processes, leading them to innovate in ways that have a practical impact. This practical perspective allows them to bring abstract ideas into reality and create solutions that are both efficient and effective. However, INTJ's practical creativity can also pose challenges. Their focus on logic and structure might limit their ability to embrace more abstract or intuitive forms of creativity. INTJs may struggle with expressing emotions through their creative work or connecting with others on an emotional level. This emphasis on practicality can also lead to a preference for solitary work, as INTJs often find collaboration challenging due to differing perspectives. Finding balance in creativity. Despite their differing approaches to creativity and imagination, INFJs and INTJs can find common ground by embracing each other's strengths. INFJs can benefit from the practical perspective of INTJs, which can help them bring their abstract ideas into tangible form. INTJs, in turn, can learn from the abstract creativity of INFJs, allowing them to explore new ideas and express their emotions more openly. For INFJs, the key to successful creativity is to balance abstract imagination with practical application. By grounding their ideas in reality and taking steps to implement them, INFJs can overcome creative blocks and bring their vision to life. For INTJs, the challenge is to embrace more abstract forms of creativity and explore new ways of expressing themselves, which can enhance their problem-solving skills and foster deeper connections with others. Ultimately, creativity and imagination are valuable tools for both INFJs and INTJs. By combining abstract and practical approaches,
to Psych IQ,
they can create
the channel where we
meaningful works
unravel
and
the
innovative
mysteries of the
solutions
human
that have
mind.
a positive impact on the
In
world.
today's deep dive, we'll be
7.
exploring the enigmatic world
Decision-making
of the
process.
INFJ
Gut
personality type
instincts
through the
versus
lens of
logic.
the iconic movie
INFJs
Amelie.
rely on their intuition and gut instincts
INFJs,
when
known
making
for their
decisions.
compassion,
They often
creativity,
have a strong
and
sense
deep
of what
insights
feels
into
right and
human
are guided
nature,
by their
find a
inner values.
captivating reflection of their
INTJs,
characteristics
however,
in the
base their
cinematic
decisions on logic
masterpiece.
and analysis.
Chapter
They
2,
gather data, weigh the
Understanding the
pros and
INFJ
cons,
personality.
and make calculated choices
Before
based
we
on
delve into
rational
the
thinking.
connection between INFJs
The way people make decisions
and
often
Amelie,
reveals
let's
a
first
lot about
understand
their
the
personalities
INFJ
and thought
personality
processes.
type.
INFJs and
INFJs are
INTJs,
often
despite
described
sharing
as
a
the
common
advocates
intuitive
or
trait,
counselors.
approach decision-making
They are
quite
introverted,
differently.
intuitive,
While both value
feeling,
intuition,
and judging
their use of it
individuals
and what
who
guides their
possess a unique
choices
blend of
diverges
idealism
based
and
on
empathy.
emotional insight and rational
Known for their
analysis.
deep understanding of emotions and their
INFJs,
ability to connect
trusting
with
gut
others on a
instincts.
profound level,
INFJs, known for their
INFJs are
deep
rare
empathy
and
and
intriguing
intuition,
beings.
often make decisions
Chapter
based
3,
on gut
Amelie
instincts and emotional
influences
resonance.
INFJ traits.
For INFJs, the
Amelie,
emotional
a French
undercurrents of a
romantic
situation
comedy directed
can be
by
more telling
Jean-Pierre
than the
Jeunet,
surface facts.
serves as an exquisite canvas
They rely
to
on their
showcase the
intuition to guide them
intricacies of
toward
the
choices
INFJ
that feel right on an
personality.
emotional level,
The titular
often
character,
factoring in the
Amelie
well-being and
Poulain,
needs of
brilliantly
others.
portrayed by Audrey
In the
Tautou,
decision-making
embodies
process,
several traits commonly
INFJs are
associated
likely to
with
consider how their
INFJ.
choices impact those
Chapter
around them.
4, Empathy
They weigh
and
the emotional
Compassion.
consequences of their actions.
One of the defining characteristics of INFJs
foster
is their
positive
profound empathy
relationships.
and compassion for others.
INFJs are also
Amelie's
guided by their
actions
values
throughout the
and
movie
beliefs,
revolve around
seeking
bringing joy
outcomes
to
that
the
align
lives
with
of
their
those
sense of
around her.
purpose and moral beliefs.
From small gestures like
This
returning a
instinctual
long-lost
approach
treasure
allows
to
them
a
to
donor to
navigate
orchestrating
complex social
elaborate setups to unite separated lovers. Amelie's
However,
actions
this
stem from a
reliance
deep
on
well
gut
of
instincts
empathy,
can also
a
pose
hallmark of
challenges
the
for
INFJ
INFJs.
personality.
They may struggle struggle with
Chapter
decisions
5,
that require strict
Idealism
logic,
and Imagination.
or where the emotional impact is unclear.
INFJs are known for their
Additionally,
idealistic
their
nature
emphasis
and
on others'
particular
feelings
worlds.
can lead to indecisiveness,
Amelie, living
or
in
a
her
tendency to
whimsical
put
world of
others' needs before
imagination,
their own.
daydreams about the lives of people
INFJs
she
may need to
observes.
work on balancing emotional
Her
intuition
imaginative
with practical
scenarios often lead her
considerations
to
to avoid being
positive
overwhelmed by
changes
the
in the
emotional
lives
weight
of
of their
those around her.
choices.
This
INTJs,
characteristic resonates
grounded
strongly
in
with the
logic and
INFJ's
strategy.
penchant for
On
envisioning
the
a
other
better
hand,
world and taking steps
INTJs,
to make it a
often called
reality.
the architects, approach
Chapter
decision-making with a more
Seeking
logical
meaning
and
and
strategic
connection.
mindset.
The search for meaning
INTJs
and
prefer to
connection
analyze
is a
data,
driving force for
evaluate risks,
INFJs.
and consider long-term
Amelie,
consequences
despite
before
her
making a
introverted
choice.
nature,
Their
yearns for
decision-making
connection and
process is grounded
intimacy.
in rationality,
Her pursuit of
focusing on
bringing joy
efficiency,
to others is a
effectiveness,
reflection of the
and the best
INFJ's
overall
desire
outcome.
to create meaningful connections
INTJs
and
excel
leave
at
a
breaking
positive
down
impact
complex
on the
problems
world.
into manageable parts and
Chapter
devising
7,
logical solutions.
Introverted nature.
They value strategic
While
planning and
Amelie
are
is
comfortable
not a
with making
textbook
tough
introvert,
decisions when
her
necessary.
introspective and observant nature
INTJs
aligns
are
with the
less
typical
likely to be swayed
characteristics
by
of an
emotional factors,
INFJ.
preferring to
The
rely
movie
on
beautifully
objective evidence
portrays
and
Amelie's
logical
internal
reasoning.
struggles and her
This
journey
approach
to
allows them
find
to make
balance
quick,
between her
confident
introverted
decisions,
tendencies
even
and
in
her desire
high-pressure
for
situations.
connection. Chapter 8,
However, INTJ's
Altruism and
logical
Self-Discovery.
can sometimes lead to challenges in
INFJs often
interpersonal
find
dynamics.
purpose in helping
Their
others,
focus on logic
and
over
Amelie's
emotion can
altruistic
make them
actions
appear
are a
detached
testament to
or
this trait.
insensitive to others' feelings.
As she navigates the
Additionally,
complexities of her own life,
INTJs may
she
struggle with
discovers her
decisions
own
that
needs
require
and
a more
desires.
nuanced understanding of
This
emotional
journey of
context,
self-discovery
or
echoes
where
the
the human element
INFJ's
plays a
continuous
significant
quest
role.
for
To
understanding
avoid these
themselves and their
pitfalls,
place in the world.
INTJs may need to develop
Chapter
greater
9,
emotional
Closing
intelligence
thoughts.
and consider the broader
Amelie
impact of their
serves as a
choices.
mirror reflecting the depth and complexity
Finding
of
a
the
balance in
INFJ
decision
personality.
Despite their differing approaches to decision
witness
making,
the beauty of
INFJs and
empathy, the power of
INTJs can find
imagination,
common
and the
ground by learning
transformative
from each
potential
other's
of
strengths.
altruism, all qualities
INFJs
deeply
can
ingrained
benefit
in
from the
INFJ
strategic perspective of INTJs,
Chapter
which can
10,
help them make
Join the
decisions with a clearer
conversation.
focus on long-term
What are
goals
your
and
thoughts on the
practical
connection
outcomes.
between Amelie and the
INTJs in
INFJ
turn can learn from the
personality?
emotional intuition of
Share your
INFJs,
insights,
allowing them to
experiences,
consider the
and favorite
emotional and human
INFJ
aspects of their
characters in
choices.
the comments below.
For INFJs,
Don't
the
forget
key
to
to
subscribe to
successful
Psych
decision
IQ
making
for
is
more
to
in-depth
balance gut
explorations
instincts with
into the
logical
fascinating
analysis.
realms of psychology
By
and
incorporating
personality
practical
types.
considerations into their
Remember,
decision-making
the
process,
journey of understanding ourselves
INFJs can
and
achieve
others is a
outcomes that are
collective
both
endeavor.
emotionally resonant and
Let's
strategically
continue
sound.
this conversation
For
and build a
INTJs,
community
the
that
challenge is to
appreciates
integrate
the
more
intricacies
emotional
of the human
awareness into their
mind.
decisions,
Until
which can
next
lead to
time,
better
stay
interpersonal
curious,
relationships
stay
and a
empathetic,
more
and
holistic
stay
view of
connected.
problem solving. Ultimately, effective decision-making often requires a combination of intuition and logic. By embracing their unique strengths and addressing their respective challenges, both INFJs and INTJs can make decisions that align with their goals, values, and the needs of those around them. 8. Communication style. Diplomatic versus direct INFJs are known for their diplomatic communication style. They choose their words carefully, aiming to avoid offending others and maintain harmony. INTJs, in contrast, are more direct in their communication. They value efficiency and clarity, which can sometimes come across as blunt or tactless. The way we communicate can greatly impact our relationships, our effectiveness in the workplace, and our ability to connect with others. INFJs and INTJs, despite sharing some similarities, have distinctly different communication styles. These differences often reflect their core motivations and how they approach interactions with others. INFJs, the diplomatic communicators INFJs, often known for their empathetic nature, tend to be diplomatic in their communication style. They carefully consider their words to ensure that they are conveying their message without causing discomfort or offense. INFJs are sensitive to the emotional undercurrents of a conversation and are often more focused on maintaining harmony and understanding than on being blunt or forceful. When communicating, INFJs use a gentle, considerate approach. They often prefer indirect communication, using subtle cues, tone of voice, and body language to convey their thoughts. INFJs are skilled at reading between the lines and are adept at picking up on others' emotions. This sensitivity to others' feelings allows them to navigate complex social dynamics and foster open, compassionate dialogue. INFJ's diplomatic style can be beneficial in situations where empathy and understanding are crucial. They excel in roles that require mediation, counseling, or teamwork. However, this approach can also lead to challenges. INFJs may struggle with asserting their own needs or setting boundaries as they prioritize the comfort of others. Additionally, their preference for indirect communication can lead to misunderstandings or ambiguity if others are not as attuned to subtle cues. INTJs, the direct communicators. On the other hand, INTJs, often called the architects, prefer a more direct communication style. They value clarity and efficiency, and they are not afraid to speak their minds. INTJs are straightforward in their approach, aiming to communicate their ideas in a clear and concise manner. They tend to focus on the content of their message rather than the emotional context. When communicating, INTJs often use a logical, no-nonsense approach. They are more likely to say exactly what they mean without sugarcoating or using euphemisms. INTJs appreciate discussions that are to the point, and they are comfortable challenging others' ideas when they believe it's necessary. This directness allows them to cut through ambiguity and address issues head-on. While INTJ's direct communication style can be efficient and effective, it can also pose challenges in social settings. Their bluntness may come across as abrasive or insensitive, especially to those who are more sensitive to emotional cues. INTJs may struggle with understanding the need for diplomacy in certain situations, and their straightforwardness can lead to conflicts if not tempered with empathy. Finding a balance in communication. Despite their differing communication styles, INFJs and INTJs can find common ground by appreciating each other's strengths. INFJs can benefit from the clarity and directness of INTJs, which can help them communicate their needs more assertively. INTJs, in turn, can learn from the diplomatic approach of INFJs, allowing them to communicate with greater sensitivity and emotional awareness. For INFJs, the key to successful communication is to strike a balance between diplomacy and directness. By being more assertive and clearly expressing their needs, INFJs can avoid misunderstandings and ensure their voice is heard. For INTJs, the challenge is to develop greater empathy and consider the emotional impact of their words, which can enhance their ability to connect with others and build stronger relationships. Ultimately, effective communication requires a blend of both styles. By embracing their unique strengths and addressing their respective challenges, both INFJs and INTJs can improve their communication skills, fostering more harmonious and productive interactions with others. 9. Personal boundaries. Malleable versus firm INFJs tend to have more flexible personal boundaries, often accommodating others' needs. They are willing to make sacrifices to maintain relationships and prioritize the well-being of others. INTJs, however, have firm boundaries. They are clear about their limits and expect others to respect them, valuing independence and autonomy. Personal boundaries play a critical role in our relationships and overall well-being. They determine how much we allow others to influence us, how we define our personal space, and how we manage our time and energy. When comparing INFJs and INTJs, a key difference lies in their approach to personal boundaries, with INFJs often having more flexible, malleable boundaries, while INTJs tend to maintain firmer and more rigid boundaries. INFJs, malleable boundaries. INFJs, known for their empathy and desire to help others, often exhibit malleable personal boundaries. They are inclined to put others' needs ahead of their own, which can lead them to be more flexible with their boundaries. INFJs are likely to say yes to requests for help, even when it stretches them thin. This trait stems from their deep sense of compassion and their intrinsic motivation to create harmony and foster positive relationships. In relationships, INFJs may struggle with saying no, fearing that it could lead to conflict or disappointment. This can result in them taking on more responsibilities than they can handle or neglecting their own needs in favor of others. INFJs' malleable boundaries can also lead to feelings of emotional exhaustion, especially if they are constantly absorbing the emotions of those around them. While this flexibility can make INFJs approachable and compassionate, it can also create issues of codependency or unhealthy dynamics in relationships. INFJs need to work on setting clear boundaries to protect their emotional well-being and ensure they have the time and space they need for self-care. INTJs, firm boundaries. In contrast, INTJs, often known for their strategic mindset and independence, maintain firmer personal boundaries. They are clear about their limits and are unafraid to assert them. INTJs value their autonomy and are more likely to say no to requests that don't align with their goals or interests. This firmness in boundaries is driven by their focus on efficiency and their preference for maintaining control over their personal space and time. In relationships, INTJs set clear expectations and communicate their boundaries openly. They prefer relationships that respect their need for independence and allow them to pursue their interests without undue interference. INTJ's firm boundaries help them maintain focus and avoid distractions, contributing to their effectiveness and productivity. However, this firmness can sometimes come across as aloof or unapproachable, especially to those who are more accustomed to malleable boundaries. INTJ's strict boundaries can also lead to challenges in collaboration, as they might struggle with compromise or accommodating others' needs. To avoid these pitfalls, INTJs may need to work on being more flexible and open to others' perspectives. Finding a balance in personal boundaries. Despite their differing approaches to personal boundaries, INFJs and INTJs can find common ground by learning from each other's strengths. INFJs can benefit from the firmness of INTJs, which can help them assert their own needs and avoid emotional exhaustion. INTJs, in turn, can learn from the flexibility of INFJs, allowing them to be more adaptable in relationships and collaborative settings. For INFJs, the key to establishing healthy boundaries is to practice saying no and setting limits that protect their time and energy. By asserting their boundaries, INFJs can foster healthier relationships and maintain their emotional well-being. For INTJs, the challenge is to be more open to compromise and consider the needs of others, which can enhance their relationships and make them more approachable. Ultimately, personal boundaries are crucial for maintaining healthy relationships and personal well-being. By embracing their unique strengths and addressing their respective challenges, both INFJs and INTJs can create boundaries that support their goals and foster positive interactions with others. 10. Long-term goals. Legacy versus achievement. When considering long-term goals, people often have different motivations that drive them towards specific aspirations. In the case of INFJs and INTJs, the underlying motivations behind their long-term goals can differ greatly, reflecting their deeper values and outlooks on life. INFJs tend to focus on creating a legacy, driven by their empathy and desire to leave a lasting impact on the world, while INTJs are often more oriented towards tangible achievement and personal success. INFJs, a focus on legacy. INFJs, with their innate empathy and sense of idealism, are often driven by the idea of creating a meaningful legacy. Their long-term goals typically involve making a positive impact on others and contributing to a greater good. INFJs are deeply concerned with the consequences of their actions on the broader community and the world at large. As a result, they may pursue careers or projects that align with their values and allow them to help others in meaningful ways. For INFJs, long-term goals are often intertwined with their sense of purpose and spiritual beliefs. They may be motivated by the desire to improve the lives of those around them, or to leave behind something that will benefit future generations. INFJs focus on legacy and lead them to work in fields like counseling, social work, or education, where they can make a tangible difference. However, this emphasis on legacy can also pose challenges for INFJs. Their idealism may lead them to set lofty, sometimes unattainable goals, resulting in frustration or disappointment if they don't achieve the impact they envisioned. INFJs need to balance their focus on legacy with realistic expectations, ensuring they don't become overwhelmed by the weight of their aspirations. INTJs, a focus on achievement. INTJs, often called the architects, are typically driven by a desire for achievement and personal success. Their long-term goals are grounded in a practical, strategic mindset, focusing on reaching tangible milestones and attaining high levels of competence in their chosen fields. INTJs are motivated by the challenge of overcoming obstacles and achieving mastery in their pursuits. They are often attracted to careers that offer opportunities for advancement, innovation, and recognition. For INTJs, long-term goals are typically structured and well-defined. They approach their aspirations with a clear plan, breaking them down into manageable steps. INTJs value efficiency and are willing to put in the hard work required to reach their goals. This focus on achievement often leads them to excel in areas such as business, technology, or science, where their analytical skills and strategic thinking are highly valued. However, INTJs' focus on achievement can also create challenges. Their drive for success may lead to intense work schedules, resulting in burnout or strained relationships. INTJs may also struggle with adapting their goals as circumstances change, as they tend to be rigid in their planning. To avoid these pitfalls, INTJs may need to balance their drive for achievement with a greater focus on personal well-being and flexibility in their long-term planning. Finding a balance in long-term goals. Despite their differing approaches to long-term goals, INFJs and INTJs can find common ground by appreciating each other's motivations. INFJs can benefit from the strategic focus of INTJs, which can help them create actionable plans to achieve their desired legacy. INTJs, in turn, can learn from the legacy-oriented mindset of INFJs, encouraging them to consider the broader impact of their achievements. For INFJs, the key to achieving long-term goals is to create a balance between idealism and practicality. By setting realistic objectives and developing a structured plan, INFJs can work towards their legacy without becoming overwhelmed. For ENTJs, the challenge is to maintain a sense of purpose and consider the human element in their pursuit of achievement. This can help INTJs stay grounded and ensure their success has a positive impact on those around them. Ultimately, long-term goals are deeply personal and can reflect our core values and beliefs. By embracing their unique strengths and addressing their respective challenges, both INFJs and INTJs can work towards their long-term goals in a way that is fulfilling, meaningful, and conducive to a positive legacy. And there you have it, 10 key differences between INFJs and INTJs. Whether you're an INFJ, an INTJ, or someone interested in understanding these personality types, we hope this video has provided valuable insights. If you enjoyed this content, please give it a thumbs up, leave your comments below to share your thoughts, and subscribe to Psych IQ for more engaging discussions about personality, psychology, and personal growth. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.